All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Teacher Lady Show. Thank you for joining us for Behind the Book, where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. On Behind the Book, we take the books that we read and then we do a review that allows you to better understand how to utilize that book as a resource to have a more robust conversation with your little one. So today's Behind the Book review is on the book Dear Reader, A Love Letter to Libraries, written and illustrated by the wonderful Tiffany Rose. If you have not done so, be sure to check out the read aloud first and then come right back here for this Behind the Book review where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. Summary in my own words. Dear Reader is truly a love letter to Tiffany's excitement behind literacy. And so it kind of takes us through the pages of adventure with all the things that she loves about books. But what I find to be amazing is that she also includes what she does not like or what's frustrating for her. And so overall, it is truly a love letter to children's books, to books in general, to literacy, and to libraries being a safe place of excitement for her. Right in line with our topic this week of falling in love with literacy, literature, and books to create a more enthusiastic reader, okay? Take home message. For me, the take home message in the book is truly the importance and the value of books. I feel like the take home message is to encourage people to read, encourage people to explore stories, and to encourage people to create the stories that they feel are missing. So, a few take home messages, but all around the theme of literacy and of falling in love with reading and books. In regards to the age group, for this book, you can go 3 years old to 8 years old is probably a good range. For the younger children, they will find the photos to be super exciting and colorful and engaging, as well as some of the rhyming schemes that take place through the story. And for the older children, I feel like they might be able to resonate some with wanting to read books and having an interest in books, but just not fully seeing yourself. So, definitely a range of age groups that can benefit from the book, but overall, a take home message of the importance of books and stories altogether. Who this book is for, I would say there are a few main groups that I would give this book to. The first is young Black girls. The story really is Tiffany's personal story and account of the importance of literacy that represents her. And in the story, that reflects a young Black girl who is in love with libraries. And so, having this book and giving it to a young Black girl to encourage her to read, I think would be really, really powerful. I feel like they would be able to resonate with the story and see themselves reflected. The other person that I would say that this book would be a perfect gift for is that child who either loves libraries, like it is their happy place, it is the best place in the world, or who cannot stand them yet. Because the book can go either way. You can either have it as a resource to encourage children to get them to the library. Look at how adventurous the library is. Look at all the different things you can do in the library. Let's get a library card. Tiffany really does take us through these different elements throughout the story of what it means to be part of a library, which I also think is an added bonus. But if you have a child that already loves the library, this too is that extra like smile because they can personally relate to what it means to be in love with libraries. Like that's my story. I absolutely love libraries. I feel like they're one of the best resources a city can have, and they're just super valuable. And so for me, when I read the book the first time, I was just excited because it was really cool to see another person who also loves libraries like I love libraries and who loves books like I love books. So those three groups would definitely benefit young Black girls, children who absolutely love libraries, and children who are not interested in libraries yet or who are just starting their library adventure. However, it would be difficult for me to find a person I would not give this book to. It's just a feel-good story that has a powerful message and is definitely worth gifting. Glows, what I think was done well. I think that Tiffany did an excellent job at a few things. One, I really appreciated her dedication in the beginning of the story. And because I didn't read it in the read aloud, I'm going to read part of it now. So in the beginning of the story, Tiffany says, dedication to my wife for always being a pair of fresh eyes and a beacon when doubt creeps in. The reason why that's a glow for me is because I've never seen it. I have read thousands of picture books at this point, and I have never seen such a normal way to thank a spouse. So that is one glow for me. The normalizing of her family dynamic. Literally just being like, my wife is dope, love you, and then moving on. I thought that that was really cool. My second glow would have to be something that I personally feel so passionate about. There is this page, and I'm going to read it. The stories of Harriet, Malcolm, Martin, and John Henry are surely ones that needed to be told. But what of the brown people like me who could do magic, fight villains, and find lost cities of gold? She has these 2 pages that reference the fact that Black stories, like one, we don't have a lot of Black stories in libraries. We didn't historically. We're getting a lot better. For 2, when you do see the Black stories, they're always Black stories of pain. Like, where is the joy of Black literature? And so her having those few pages that touch on that was just amazing to me. For one, because I feel seen, right? Like, I definitely personally connect with the desire to have children books that are embedded in joy that also reflect Black people. Like, for whatever reason, this country thinks pain is synonymous with Blackness, and that's not true. So I love that she pointed that out in the story. Big glow for me because it's super important to recognize that those stories are valuable, but they are not all of our story. And they should be accompanied by stories of joy and excitement and magic and all of these other kind of topics and genres. Children deserve to see joy when it comes to books while still seeing themselves. So I love that. And then the last glow that I have is the illustrations, but the illustrations because of the layers. Like, no page is flat. And since the story is so embedded in like magic and just her being like the special wizard in a way when it comes to libraries and books, seeing all of these different elements, like having a tree and then a rainbow and then books and then people and then a pig and then her on a bench and then hearts. It was just so intentional to get us to feel the magic of libraries. And whenever you see a picture and you get a feeling as a result, they have truly done well. That illustrator has truly done well in getting you to understand what it is that they're trying to communicate. And Tiffany, being both the author and the illustrator in this book, did an amazing job of having her words match the feel of the pictures, which as an illustrator is difficult to do. So thank you for that, Rose. There are 2 words in this book that challenged me, okay? So one is heroine. Heroine's heroine. And I still don't even know if I'm saying it correctly, just in its spirit of transparency. I have now done research on the word and looked it up. I see that that is a common mispronunciation with the drug heroin. So some sort of little asterisk to say how you pronounce that word, I think would be beneficial. Being that I've read this story to children, I've had to look it up myself. I'm not the only one, even though sometimes it feels like that. Anytime you're doing picture books and you have a word for that age group that usually isn't there, like we don't usually see 5-year-olds reading words like that, having an asterisk, super helpful. Not only to the kids, but honestly, sometimes to the adults. It's not even an area of growth. It's a personal preference because, girl, I was struggling. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, heroine, hero. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of a woman hero or female hero. And so that was definitely a new experience for me. And I think because she repeats it so much, having something about that would have been really cool. How do you have a discussion with your child around this book and this story? So, the point of this entire week is to create more enthusiastic readers. Like, that is the goal of this week's topic. And so, utilizing this book as a resource for one to get your child to the library, extremely powerful. Read this at night, let them know, the day before that tomorrow is Saturday. We're going to go to the library. We're going to pick 5 books that we're interested in reading and bring them home and kind of just get them embedded and get them interested in the trip to the library. When you get to the library, ask the librarian what their name is. Find the children's section with your child. Explain to them kind of on the side of the book. You always kind of have the author's name or a way to be able to put that book back where it goes. Really utilize this book as a start of the adventure that your child can have with the love of libraries, because simultaneously it usually means with a love of books. And if you want your child to be an efficient and effective and accurate and a fluent reader, okay, clearly they'll have times where there's words that they've never heard before or seen. I am very educated and I still run across them, as I said earlier. But if you want them to start that process, you're going to have to be excited until they can get there. Go through the process with them and use books to be able to encourage that. So, definitely one way to use this book as a resource. Another is for you to talk about the things that stood out most in this story. Okay. And if you're going on a library trip, I would focus it in on the library. I also feel like the library is an adventure because I love to go to the romance section and I like to see how other people go about being romantic. Or I like the magazine section because I'm never going to buy a magazine, but it's really cool that I can go look at it. Like, really put yourself out there in terms of your love and appreciation for libraries, because children are learning. They're learning what's great. They're learning what's not great. They're learning what they should be interested in. They're learning what they're not interested in. They really are sponges. And so the more that you kind of normalize your experience, the better it will be for all involved. Another way to use this book as a resource is to bring your child into the fold. Tiffany talks about writing books and writing stories for the library so that children who are similar to her will have books and stories. And I would ask my child, like, well, what kind of stories do you think you would create if you were an author? Or what kind of stories do you think might be missing? Or just having that conversation around what it would mean for them to be an author or creator of a story really helps to bring in that overall excitement and engagement. Okay. And then the last thing that you do, which I also think can be really powerful, is make a book with your child. It can be as simple as paper, pencils, and crayons. But like Tiffany created this story and she talks about in the book why she created it, and then use that as a bridge to create a book with your little one. And maybe it's about how dinosaurs save the environment from bad recycling. Maybe it's about getting your hair done and being happy doing so. The topic doesn't much matter. Whenever you're trying to get a child to read, you have to get them to understand the value of stories, of books, of literature. If they don't like the books that are being read, if they don't feel like they're part of or could be part of the process of creating stories, it makes a hard job even more challenging. English is one of the hardest languages. Here go my detour. Stay with me. English is one of the hardest languages to learn how to read because there's so many rules that do not get followed, okay? As a literacy specialist, as a reading specialist, as a person who has their degree in like teaching other children things, including reading, I can tell you that so often it's frustrating because we do not follow our own rules. Now, with that said, the easiest way to combat that and to keep your child engaged in reading so that they can become more fluent readers, understand comprehension better, is to get them involved, is to get them to see the lights, to understand the power of books. And making a book with them is a beautiful way to be able to start that process. Final thoughts. This book is a love letter to libraries, but it's also a love letter to stories. Tiffany definitely takes us through her life, kind of her adventure of falling in love with reading, falling in love with books, the importance of libraries, but also what's missing and how she decided to fix that. There's so much power in this story. There's so much beauty, so much art, and so much passion. And I definitely encourage you to click on the link below and go ahead and get your copy added to your home library. And at the very least, go ahead and check it out at your local library, okay? Thank you so much for learning with me. We do have another read aloud this week, The Oldest Student, as well as a behind the book on that. So you can check that out. And then on Friday, we'll have our professional development, The Teacher Lady Speaks, where I wrap up this week's topic by giving you resources and insights and just overall support to create the strongest reader you possibly can. Thank you for learning with me, for growing with me, and for being part of this book loving community. Until next time, remember to enjoy the moment or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.